Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, we appreciate those tuning in on iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could join us as well. Our next guest has been able to bring together two passions of his and share them with the world. We're excited to welcome author and travel host Rick Steves to our program today. He's celebrating a new best-selling book. It's called Italy for Food Lovers, but also he's going to talk to us about his love of travel as well. If you guys are just now finding out about the book, but we'll remind you how you can get your own copy of it. Rick, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
It's great to be with you, Cyrus.
The pleasure is definitely all mine. So as I mentioned, the book, Italy for Food Lovers, already a bestseller on Amazon. What has it been like for you, Rick, to be able to share your love of travel and food with the rest of us?
Well, that's kind of the joy of my work. I love to travel, and I love to help Americans better understand the culture of Europe. Europe is my beat. That's all I do. I've got about 50 guidebooks covering every corner of Europe, and we've been making television shows for 30 years on public television and leading our groups around Europe. We take about 1,000 busloads of Americans around Europe every year on our tours, and it's just so much fun to find places that I love, find experiences that I love, find dimensions of good living that I love that are related to travel, and bring it home and let other people learn from my experience and have a more experiential and efficient and economic travel experience themselves. And now with this book that we've just published, Italy for Food Lovers, we're able to help Americans who might not be sophisticated about Italian culture get over there and just enjoy the food of Italy, which is my favorite place to eat in Europe.
Love that. And to that point then, Rick, I think the other thing about this book is the great marriage not only of the food, but also the history and the photos. What was it like for you to kind of bring all of that together again with your love of Italy?
Well, Italy is our best-selling destination. I've done, of all of my guidebooks, my Rick Steves Italy guidebook is, I think, the best-selling guidebook to Europe of any book. Our tour program is dominated by Italy. I think, I've done 8 shows on Britain and 10 shows on Spain. I've done 18 shows on Italy. And it just was so much fun to be able to find a person who I could collaborate with on this book that is a very, very good partner on this, Fred Plotkin, my co-author, and weave his sophisticated and highbrow gourmet approach to Italian cuisine into my everyman kind of approach to European travel, where you don't need to speak the language and you don't need to be a sophisticate to get out there and enjoy it. And together, Fred and I have put together this handbook where we can explain some fundamental things about Italian food so that our travelers really can be more confident and as they get out of their comfort zone. But, that's part of good travel is getting out of your comfort zone, and Italy is get out of your comfort zone written all over it. Italy is all about chaos, but what they call chaos in Italy, they call bella chaos, beautiful chaos. And, it might be a little bit overwhelming for a traveler who doesn't have any information, but what Fred and I try to do is put the tools you need to know to enjoy that eating scene in Italy right there, so any of us can get out there into the back streets and choose a good restaurant and know how to sort through the menu and know how to do well.
And Rick, I love the fact that from the very beginning of the book in the introduction, you talk about that yes, it's a guide to Italian food, but you mentioned also a book about the Italian people. Talk to us about that and the history you're able to share there as well.
Yeah, well, there's something in Italy called campanile. And campanile, I just love it. It's campanile is the bell tower, the church tower, and the tower on the main square with a bell in it. And people love the sound of their own bell tower. It's this love of your hometown. And Italy has 20 regions, just like we have 50 states. And each one of these regions has its own cuisine. In a lot of cases, it's its own dialect and its own passion for their food and their way of living and their mama's cooking. And campanile is part of enjoying the food of Italy. So Fred and I wrote a chapter on each of the 20 regions in Italy so that when we travel through Italy, we realize that's eating ethnic in Italy. Italians don't eat Italian like we do. They're eating knowing what region they're eating from. And when we cross a regional border, we like to do that with fanfare. And now we're in Umbria, and this is a place where you eat wild boar. And now we're in Campania, and that's where the salad caprese, the tomatoes, and the mozzarella are so good. And now we're in Naples, and that's the hometown of pizza. And now we're in Liguria, up in the Italian Riviera, where the pesto was born, and we know just what pasta to put the pesto on. And now we're up in Venice, where the people are nicknamed corn eaters, and everything's polenta. I just really love that, and it's just a shame when some American goes to Italy and they have spaghetti bolognese and a pizza just because that's what they had back home. And that's not really the reason you go to Italy when it comes to the cuisine.
I love that. Such a great point, Rick. And I think, again, that's why a book like this from someone like yourself who knows Italy so well is so important. And I love the fact, even as you were talking, of course, I think Naples would be my place because, as you mentioned, because of the pizza. But I think I love that people can kind of decide for themselves what would be really cool for them. Again, everyone, Rick Steves has been our guest. Italy for Food Lovers is the brand new book. You all can get it through our friends at Amazon.com, as I mentioned, already an Amazon bestseller in several categories there. Rick, I'm excited about this. I do want to ask you this, though, for our audience. For those who are looking to travel, what would you suggest to them when it comes to reading this book, getting to know the place, but also thinking about places that they want to visit, too?
Yeah, guidebooks for me are $25 tools for $3,000 experiences. And it seems kind of expensive to buy a book for $25 before your trip, but your trip is really important, and your time is valuable, and the experience, the potential experience is incredible. And the key to good travel is just equip yourself with good information, expect yourself to travel smart, and use that information, and you will. That's the philosophy of my guidebooks, that's the philosophy of my TV shows, and that's the philosophy of this book, Italy for Food Lovers. For example, when you go to Italy, I didn't know abbinamento is a thing, but that's a very important word for Italian food cuisine, or food culture. That means artfully matching flavors and textures. A lot of us go to Italy and we just love the cantaloupe or a slice of honeydew melon wrapped with a thin slice of salty prosciutto, a wonderful Italian ham. And we're not realizing that this is textbook abbinamento. That's matching flavors and textures. And all of Italian food is focusing in on that. It's a good marriage between the different ingredients. And when we're in Italy, it's all about the ingredients. France is about fancy sauces in a lot of cases. In Italy, it's just about the ingredients, and that means you want to eat local and you want to eat with the season. I love the fact that a good eater can go to a good restaurant, look at the menu, and know what month it is and where they are just by what is on the menu. Italians love this notion of eating with the seasons. That's when it's the tastiest. And they love the notion also of a 0-kilometer meal, meaning almost everything on the table was made within a walking distance of the town square. And you put that together, and then you add to that this wonderful ability of Italian restaurants to create this ambiance, this atmosphere. They say, a tavola non si invecchia. At the table, one does not age. There's this relaxing atmosphere, casual, informal, with good friends and good food and good drink. It's just, that's just, life is good. You find yourself saying life is good a lot when you're eating in Italy.
Love that. Rick, thank you so much again for giving us this book and for the great conversation today. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to speaking with you again.
Yeah, happy travels, and especially right now, buon appetito. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Again, Rick Steves has been our guest. His new book, Italy for Food Lovers, is again available through Amazon, but also through your favorite local bookstore. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.